Alright, my friends, it's your boy Teez, and we're back with another video. I know it's been a little while, but hey, we got something that I think you guys should be aware of. So, we know that next season from the leaks and stuff, as most likely we're going to be getting Solar 3.0 with Season 17, right? We're in Season 16 right now with the Void, but we've got confirmation from some reputable people that we're going to be going into Solar next season. So I thought we'd make a video about some weapons that I feel are going to be good and that maybe you should be working towards getting so that you're ready for Season 17 and Solar 3.0. Now, I personally have been speculating that this is also going to be the season returning of Warmind cells. So keep that in mind. Well, if you want to see a video where I go a little bit more in depth about weapons to prepare you for Warmind cell builds and Warmind cell builds as well, let me know down in the comments. We'll kind of touch on it here and there in the video, but for the most part, we're just going to stick to some good solar weapons out there. But again, a lot of these are going to tie in the fact that they work well with Warmind cell builds as well. So let's start with our primaries up here. None of these are solar weapons per se, but they can be due to the perk of Osmosis. So these are some of your Osmosis weapons here. Fatebringer. This is the time loss version. I suggest if you can, get a time loss version. That way you can have better mods here. You get the Adept selection, which comes with Adept mags, stuff like that, and also you get big ones. That's the one that a lot of people like to use here. But for this one, what you're looking at, this one has Osmosis. Explosive payload is also good, but for solar, mainly we're going with Osmosis here. And Firefly. You'll see a lot of the guns I talk about have Firefly or Dragonfly on it. Why? Because that is a solar explosion, which ties into the Warmind cell build. So it may not make sense to you if you don't know much about the Warmind cell mods, but trust me, Firefly, Dragonfly are going to be good perks to be looking for here, especially when it has Osmosis on it as well. So a couple other weapons here. I've got Wither Horde here, and the reason I have this here ties in again to Warmind cells with a 7th Seraph weapon paired with it, because if you didn't know, if you shoot out a Wither Horde and then quickly switch to your 7th Seraph weapon, anything that gets killed by the Wither Horde's pool counts as kills towards the 7th Seraph. So every 4th kill with a 7th Seraph weapon pops a Warmind cell. Escape Velocity. This is another one that can get Osmosis. Hopefully you picked this up a few weeks ago when Zur had this God Roll of Overflow and Osmosis. You got a Skaithlock, which is an auto rifle that can also have Osmosis. So a lot of these weapons up here, these are all Osmosis. That's why they're up here. The Fortissimo can get it. Traveler's Chosen, of course, has it. Servant Leader. The Last Breath. This is from Prophecy. You can farm this in the Cube encounter, the Cube room. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's the one where you have to kill the knights by staying in either light or dark, dunk the moats on the correct spot, etc. And also Succession can get it. Typically you look for Osmosis on a sniper rifle. I just threw this in there because this can get it. So it's also an option. I think there's a couple other guns out there that have Osmosis as well that we didn't touch on here. But for the most part, this is your majority of your Osmosis weapons. Let's jump down in here into some energy. So, of course, we're going to be talking solar here. Sunshot. This thing is especially deadly when it comes to Warmind cell builds. But, again, solar damage here. Of course, all these weapons are going to have solar damage. It's the other perks on them that were also making these just go up that extra notch. Death Adder. The reason we have this one here is because of Dragonfly. So there's most likely going to be something associated with solar weapons, just like with void weapons right now. We have the Volatile Flow, so I'm assuming we're going to probably get something to deal with solar weapons as well. So these are just some of solar weapons. Of course, there are many more out there. These are just some of my favorites that I figured we would touch on that I think are going to be useful. Explosive Personality. This, of course, is one of the craftable weapons this season. So you can get this, put whatever perks you have on it. You can see mine has Feeding Frenzy and Frenzy, which I believe to be good if you are going to commit to this weapon. I mean, you're going to have it out, you're going to be reloading it and just shooting it and shooting it and shooting it. I'm personally thinking, though, of switching Feeding Frenzy probably to auto-loading holster and Frenzy to stats for all, as because I think I like this weapon more as a pull it out, shoot it, reholster it to my other weapon, come back to it kind of weapon. If I'm going to be maining the grenade launcher, I think I would probably roll with the empty vessel over the explosive personality, because here we can get Ambitious Assassin, and the perk you see on mine is Demolitionist. I believe this one also has spike grenades on it. It's a good one to also get one that has blinding on it. There's all kinds of different perks for this gun. It has a very big perk pool. It's very hard to farm for a specific one, but you can get this out of the strike playlist, my friends. Tiku's Divination. If Warmind cells come back, this is going to be very good. Of course, if you don't know anything about this weapon, you hip fire it, it can target 3 enemies, and then you aim down sights, shoot one, and sets off a detonation. This works very well when you have 2 people in your group using it. One person doing the hip firing, the other person doing the ADS, shooting and exploding things. Again, can work well with Warmind cells. Vision of Confluence. This, of course, is from Vault of Glass as well. This is a time loss version as well. You can get a regular, but I suggest you try to get a time loss if you can. Main thing we were looking for here was rewind rounds, and we like Firefly. Again, Firefly, because of that solar explosion, we're banking on those Warmind cells coming back and being effective next season. The Ogma's a good one out there. It can get Dragonfly as well. Lots of different roles, adaptive munitions you can get on this, but specifically for solar, we like the Dragonfly combination here. And yes, we do have a trace rifle in there, because if you did not read the TWAB recently, trace rifles are getting a buff to yellow bar enemies, so these could be good. Retrace Path. This is, of course, from Dares of Eternity, so you can farm this. Lots of good rolls here. Subsistence Demo, Subsistence Golden Trace, Subsistence Frenzy. Lots of different stuff you can go with on that one. And Prometheus Lens. This guy is getting a change as well, to where sustained damage is going to put a more effective burn, as the TWAB kind of stated, on enemies. So this could be good as well. Some other weapons, of course, that are missing out. We got a lot of other solar ones. The Summoner Auto Rifle from Trials, good weapon. Unfortunately, they took Dragonfly off of it when they reintroduced it this season. If you have one of the old ones and you're lucky enough to have Dragonfly on it, that could be good. I do have one of the old ones with Dragonfly still on it, and if you did not read, the Summoner is going to be pulled out of the pool from Trials starting with Season 18. So you have the rest of this season and Season 17 to get you one. Again, though, you won't be able to get Dragonfly on it. A couple different sidearms that are out there. Nothing too much to talk too much about. You know, we got Cartesian Coordinate. The Vex Mythoclast, depending on what goes on with fusions, Vex could be coming back again next season to be an effective weapon of choice. But aside from that, like I said, there's many other solar weapons. You got Ariana's Vow, stuff like that. Polaris Lance is another good one, especially with Warmind cells. That could be a very effective weapon as well. Let's move down into the heavies. Love and Death. You don't see too many people talk about this, but this was one of my favorite heavies to use when we were using Warmind cells a couple seasons ago, because of the chain reaction. So down here, you're going to see a lot of chain reaction stuff going on. Again, that's building toward a Warmind cell build, because there is a Warmind mod where solar explosions can create Warmind cells. So we got Love and Death. We got the Hezen Vengeance. Of course, this is another weapon from Vault of Glass. Can get Demolitionist on it. Cluster Bomb is good for Warmind cells. Gallahorn, of course, will be good. Eyes of Tomorrow it's getting a little bit of a change too. So Eyes of Tomorrow, I think you're going to see a lot more people using this again over Gjallarhorn next season. Soulless Scar is, of course, the sword from Trials that can get chain reaction. Again, chain reaction, we're banking on Warmind cells with this. Xenophage, got to rework again, so you may see people using that again. So if you haven't got your Xenophage, get out there and quest that, get that done. There's a couple rocket launchers that have chain reaction. We've got the Ascendancy, which was from the seasonal weapon a couple seasons ago. So if you don't have that, you can't get it anymore. And then we had Code Dwello, which I believe came from Battlegrounds. Also has chain reaction on it. Here's a weapon that you really haven't seen too many people using this season, but maybe more starting next season with Solar, is the Parasite grenade launcher from beating the Witch Queen campaign. 1,000 Voices could be a good choice as well. And in terms from Solar weapons, that's the most that I see as being maybe affected by what's going to happen with Solar, and hopefully Warmind cells there. You know, you got Whisper of the Worm, you got Lament, you got the Cataclysmic from the Valve Disciple. Couple other weapons, the Dreaming City Sword, the Avalanche Machine Gun. Couple other Solar weapons there, but I feel like these are some of the ones that will probably see a lot more use than others. So once again, like I said, these are some Solar weapons that you should start building up in your arsenal, getting those rolls accumulated for them. And like I mentioned, a lot of this is going in because I think Warmind cells are going to become useful. Not that they really never became less useful, but when Bungie did the rework to the Warmind cells, a lot of people wrote them off, even though the rework to them wasn't really that major. People made it out to be more major than what it really was. They are still very effective, but we won't get into that. But the one thing I will touch on is the one mod that we are talking about a lot of this is Solar Splash Damage. Final blows have a chance to create Warmind cells. So this one mod here makes those dragonflies, those grenade launchers, those chain reactions, those fireflies, those solar explosions, those solar AoE grenades. You know, you got the thermite grenade, you got the solar sun grenade that the warlock has. Because remember, when they combine the solar class, most likely these grenades are going to be available to all the different classes now, not just the Titan being able to have the thermite. We can probably be able to have this on Hunter and Warlock, and vice versa. So this mod alone, Wrath of Rasputin, is going to become a big mod to have. So if you haven't got this, make sure you are checking Ada every day for these Warmind cell mods and start collecting them, because there are several in the mix that you will be using when it comes to a Warmind cell build. I'm not going to talk about those mods right now. We'll leave that for another video. So if you want to see that video about what I'm speculating in the Warmind cell mods that I'm going to be running next season, let me know down in the comments. Don't forget, hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. It's free. It does help support us. I know this was a little bit of a longer video, my friends, but we had to touch on a lot of weapons here. There's a lot more we can go into with the solar classes for next season. But like I said, we just try to keep this one to the weapons. So if you want to see that Warmind cell build, drop it down in the comments and let me know. I'll see you guys in the next one.